Well, this is more my passion. You can talk about varieties, color varieties. I particularly like used. I really like them when they're on cover. And this one, well, we can talk about it now, but this is the only color variety that I have that when I submitted it to the VJG for certification, they came back and said, well, they gave me a no opinion. They said, we don't know if it's genuine or not. I've never seen this particular stamp missing silver. The sender was a collector who has collected a lot of other varieties on cover. And so we'll see some of his in the rest of the presentation that are genuine. So I don't know about this one, but let's go on.
Why does the one have colored? Is the silver the combination of two colors being printed, one over the other?
Yeah, the silver goes on top of that. Correct.
Huh. That's very odd.
It is.
That could be the result of a chemical alteration.
Could be, but the collector, if I know the sender, and he didn't do that.
What does Unitrade say?
It's not listed
I
in
can look it
Unitrade.
up.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it would be listed, no.
Okay, but let's go on continuing here. So we're going to look at some missing colors, wrong colors, printing sequence color, shifted colors, color shade varieties, some more buyer beware, may not be as claimed, and the color changelings, which are also really, so the missing color, I picked up some of the American examples first. What you'll see in here in the presentation is American stamps that are not from my collection. I don't collect American, but I wanted to highlight these ones. Yes, this is a $400 one missing. And here's the same block, should be on sale for $1,800. Fairly missing the black inscription. Here's another one. This one I like better. This one is claimed to be, but I don't know if you have the Scott catalog. I'd be thrilled to know why the seller is calling it as 1702 and 1703. Are those two different stamps? I mean, the stamps are identical. I don't see any difference in them. That's interesting.
It's the size of the tagging on the block.
The side purse run longer on the one as well.
What it is when you compare it with the regular one, yes, you can really see the difference there. The color is there. And what I really like on this one is that you've got the plate number on the side that shows you that this actually has the pink, and the one on the left block, the variety doesn't. It did miss the color.
I've always been suspicious of red because red is easy to fade out on stamps.
Yeah. And it's all done with, as we talked before, we've talked about comb and line perforating. Just remember what this kind of perforation is?
Comb.
Right. Okay, another missing color. This one is pretty obvious. It's missing the Forever for $550. I don't know how that compares. It's expensive, I would have thought, but it depends on how rare it is. When I looked it around, I've noticed another one of these Forevers, and the look didn't pass the smell test quite, or didn't quite. And when I zoomed in, you could see that it actually is two colors on top of each other, a lighter beige underneath and a darker brown on top.
Not priced in Scott.
Intriguing.
It's not priced in Scott.
Is it mentioned?
It's mentioned, yes.
Hmm.
That's D.
Mm-hmm.
D and E.
That close-up almost looks like a double print.
What I've seen in some
Or print
other
by
stamps, they try to give some depth to it, to make it look a bit of a shadow, to make it look like it's but I don't know if it's obviously a registration. If it is two colors, it's either a registration error, they're not quite lined up properly, or I don't know. This is an interesting one. Someone's got their the 25, the denomination is missing from the complete booklet. At only $50. I thought that's an incredible price for what I would consider to be a fairly cool, dramatic variety. This is another definitive set, and they claim it's missing both blue and missing color and denomination, and it's $400. That's a reasonable for he's actually got two copies of the one stamp in the end.
The previous booklet plane you showed is listed in Scott at $90.
So here's another example of a definitive. This is an interesting one. It's missing the orange and the blue. I presume the way he's listed them all as 1547B, this is orange and green missing, and C is just the green missing. So it's an interesting progression of quality control was a little bit off on this issue. Okay, these are three that I did buy. I think I laughed when I saw this one, my winning bid of $7 for a missing color missing. Well, it's not even the right width of foil stamp, but I don't know what I'm going to get. But I spent some money on it. This is from an interesting seller who doesn't really know what he's got, and whether or not it's a color changeling or chemical or a sunlight, I don't know. I invested $5 in it, so I couldn't complain. And another one that I bought was for $50. This is another major error. We'll see. Okay, now we're going to go into the Canadian stuff. This is all genuine material from me, my collection. 727 with missing silver and VGG certificate. This is 847, also listed in the catalog. Now this one, I think, is this the future? The future of US and Canada relations? What do you think? No borders.
No borders.
We're all one country. Another one. Variety missing dark blue and violet again with certificate. And this one, this is an interesting one. It's missing the black inscriptions. Also, these are all in my collection. Here's the missing silver on the Canada and space issue. This is a newer one. Missing gold. It is. I don't know if this is listed in Unitrade or not. I have, as I said, I don't have the later Unitrade catalogs. This one is, I believe, this is in mint, so it's not that special for me. And this is another one. This is one I have both. The fact that they're both on cover, you would think that if somebody's mailing them, they came from the same booklet. And if they came from the same booklet, how is it that the one stamp is missing the red P? I'm not sure. I took a chance on it. We'll take a look at it. And did he chemically treat it to remove the red before putting it on the cover? I don't know, but it's possible that you came from two different booklets or two different coils.
And there's sort of red in the trees there in the background.
So
Sort of something that looks reddish. Be different.
the P might be from the P would probably be from a different plate though. That'd be a standard plate that we used on multiple stamps. Another missing color with cert. This is my latest. I got this recently again, and it's really bizarre to have a missing gold on part of the stamp. It's got glue, it's got gum. So did someone actually carefully I've asked one other collector, and he says this stamp is supposed to be easy to remove the gold. I don't know. What I also found peculiar about in this particular issue, and I've never seen it before, is to have 4 stamps in a block on the whole pane. They're all in different directions.
Yeah, that's odd.
They're not even tet besh. They're what, I don't even know what they call these, but it's some more unusual configuration for stamps in blocks. And in fact, the whole pane, they're all different directions. There's every set of 4 is different.
On the previous slide, it looks like your stamp does have some of its gold.
Yeah, it has gold on the top half.
Well, no, the lower stamp, the inscription on the lower right corner, do I see gold in there or not?
I think he's highlighting that there's no gold in this inscription down here in the corner.
Okay.
With the arrow. He's pointing to the arrow to where the gold is missing. So I don't, maybe down in here, you mean in the salvage. Yes,
It got printed with gold, yes.
Yeah, the gold got on the plate. So it's a little unusual.
It'd be nice if
Similar-
you got the rest of the sheet. Could you see whether it's like the whole bottom row is like that, and then maybe the foil or whatever can get all the way over.
Missing color. Well, this guy claims missing color. He's only selling it for $4.99. And when you compare it with another one that's got all the stoplights, stoplights are the highlight of the story of this sale is just simply, if you are looking at stamps and they do have the stoplights, if they are missing a color, they should claim it should be apparent in the stoplights. what this seller is highlighting though as missing color, and you can barely see it, is in the top right-hand corner of this stamp. There's a little white lighter triangle where the black the beige background is missing. If you can barely see it, that's what he's highlighting as the, the great addition, not listed. Well, this little triangle of shading. I don't know if I haven't checked enough stamps to see if that appears on other stamps or not, but okay, that's enough for Canada, I think. Yeah, we're going back now to the US and out of missing colors into wrong color. Obviously, this is a highly prized one for the Americans. It's a different blue, obviously, and obviously it was printed in different colors, and so this one is available. Not, of course, obviously from my collection.
Well, getting half price isn't bad usually.
It's not very fine. It's it's off-centered.
Oh yeah.
This is an interesting one. It's on cover, and that's what appeals to me. I like in particular when they're on cover. I like varieties on cover. That's my real passion. I'd much rather spend $400 on that than something else that's mint, if I collected used. But is it possible that it's a changeling? Chemically altered? I don't know. I think you'd be hard pressed to adjust to get the color out of here and not affect the blue here. I don't know if Scott lists it as a.
Does not list it.
Yeah. So it's an interesting variety. I'm not sure about it. Intriguing though. Here's a printing sequence error. This is a Canadian one though. Everybody in Canadian collects Canadian is famous for, knowledgeable about. It's just how whether or not the colors here, blue was printed over top of the red, and the variety is the red over blue. It's hard to tell, but you can see the red is a little more prominent over here than it is here, and a little more prominent here. So you need good magnification to see it, but there's a variety. It's an unusual one and very common in Canadian stamps and Canadian variety collections. Shifted color. This is one, it's quite dramatic. And with Canada, shifted on this stamp, is shifted so far to the left that the 2 actually now is in the bottom right-hand corner instead of being the bottom left-hand corner. Back to the US for shifted colors now, which really, these are registration areas. This is one of the more dramatic ones. You can see how the red has been shifted here. It's not even close to his shoulder. And in fact, when you look up in the top left corner of that stamp, well, everything's shifted.
Yes.
I think the only thing that's in the right position is the black. The blue from the ball, if you look over here and look at the ball that's in Santa's bag, well, the blue is gone, blue is wrong, brown is wrong, and something else up here, it's messed up.
Yep.
This
Santa's
one
having a bad day there.
This one's still for sale. This seller, Alex Gold, if you are interested in dramatic perf shifts and perforation dead errors, I bought 10, I think, items from him already because I thought these are cool. I don't collect them, but they're cool. I bought this one from him too. And this is really, really intriguing. Yes, there's an obvious black shift. And this on the left stamp, black is the only one that's right. Here on the right-hand pair, black is the only thing that's wrong. Everything else is right. The blue is right. The brown is right. But the black is shifted way up to the top. It includes the United States and the 8. That's all shifted up. But my question here to you, sharp eyes, what is wrong? What does not pass the smell
the wildlife test? Conservation should be there at the bottom, and it's not.
It should be there. It should be right there. Why is it not? And I think that's because it is on a separate, this stamp is not just missing shifted color, it is missing a color. It's missing the wildlife conservation. What happened was they put the wildlife conservation on a different plate and used that plate on some stamps, but not on all. So the wildlife conservation wasn't tied to the United States and the 8 cents. It was a different plate. So this one actually is a missing color by my books. Okay, here's another shifted color. The one I did buy. I bought the one on the bottom in the center, and then I started looking around for good copies. Well, a bit of quality control problems on this one too. The green shift here is way down. I mean, this is the horse down here, and here's the rider here. Here, the horse is, this and everything is wrong. Nothing is right. It's just the blue and the black are in the right line, but and the red is in the red. This is misperf. This is more of a misperf and a registration error. Green shift sideways. That's just an interesting sample. A lot of registration errors. Color shade varieties in the US, there's a couple. I presume these are actually listed as indigo blue and regular, and for 2280E, black trees versus regular. Here's the prices. These are again not from my collection. Here's the color shade variety. Now this is where it gets, I mean, they're not listed. The seller is selling it as a color shade variety. I'm not quite sure. This is in, I did buy it because it came with another stamp that I liked, a perforation error on this one too. But I don't think color shades are very common. They're very common and they're not really varieties. Here's another example of a color shade. The red here seems to be a lot brighter here than here. We talked about it earlier that someone made a mention that, yeah, red is one of the easiest ones to bleach out. We really can't tell if these ones are just color changelings or shade varieties. Here you've got the background is slightly different color. Canadians, we've got our own fair share of color shades too. That issue selling for 100, not quite sure. And this one is very common. I've seen lots of copies of the two different shades of that. Again, well, $200 is way out of line. None of these are in my collection. Buyer beware. May not be as claimed. This one, it's claimed as a missing pair, red color missing.
Shift too, it's shifted down.
But is it missing red? It's dramatic, we'll give you, but there was never supposed to be red printing there. So how can it be missing red? I mean, the red printing goes underneath it. I think it's plain and simply, it's just a perforation error, a misperf, whatever you want to call it, or registry, might consider registration error, but perforation or registration, definitely not missing color.
Well, on the stamps shown on the left seem to have some color in the design. The sky, there's a visual difference in the pictures here. Maybe
yeah, I agree.
Your photography, but
here, okay. No, it was more. Here's another example where there isn't red in the sky. I think the red that you're seeing on this is not actually there in the stamp.
Oh.
This is what the normal stamp would look like. That's another version of the normal stamp. I was highlighting here that the salvage is the right thickness. So it's more likely that this was just a misperf and it did
registration.
Pardon?
Just registration. It's not a misperf.
I called it registration. Other people that I talked to about this felt it was a so I know it's not. I think it's not missing red. That's all. Here's another one, missing color. Again, this is one I'd like feedback on. Yes, certainly the horse and the sleigh is missing some of the red. But when you look at, the chimney, there's still some red up here. I don't know if this is 1384D is actually a missing red that's listed in the catalog. And if they show it in the listed in the catalog, if they show a photo that shows, yes, there still is some red on the chimney in the front of the church, the building and the roof, or if there were two red plates.
Two different shades of red.
It could be simply an incomplete printing of the red, not missing, but incomplete.
The catalog lists all sorts of color errors. Light green omitted, light green, red, and yellow omitted. Yellow omitted.
Okay.
Red and yellow omitted. Light green and yellow omitted. Light green and red omitted.
Okay. Let's give it to him that this is probably what the catalog says as a missing red, some kind.
There's been a lot of discussion about how if only a portion of the color is missing, then it's not the error stamp. In order to be the missing color error stamp, you have to have absolutely no trace of that color anywhere on the stamp.
That's the note that's what I wanted to make the point in this slide, is that all the color has to be missing to be a missing color error. This is an interesting one. This is another seller who's selling it because he claims that there is a extreme missing color error. He's pointing to this little white patch under the flower. It should have color in it, obviously, compared to the stamp. When you zoom in on it, though, it really almost looks to me like this is paper damaged here. that somewhere after the background was printed and before the stems were printed, a little bit of the paper, maybe a little water got in the stamp and the glue from another sheet came, maybe with pre-gummed sheets, and a little bit of the stamp got damaged here. And that's why the black could print on top of it. I'd need to look at that with a light to check for a thin on that. But
So this is a freak rather than an error.
right, yeah, or a damaged stamp if you want to call it.
Yeah.
Possible damage during the printing process. It obviously happened between the two steps. It's an interesting to see the black on top of the white though. That is cool. Here's another one. Well, he claimed it was not as claimed. He claimed this one was missing part of the background. And well, I chatted with him back and forth a couple times, sent him messages. Take a look at the back of the stamp. And he's showing here that the back of the stamp is also different color. Well, it was pretty, he at the end, after a few emails back and forth, he agreed, yes, this is not missing background.
Could this be a tagging issue? Is the whole stamp tagged?
I don't know.
Shifted, the tagging has been shifted so that the top part did not get the tagging.
Would the tagging have affected the back of the stamp?
Yeah, that's true.
I think it was just storage, the plastic,
Yeah.
either the whatever plasticizer in whatever storage mechanism. I may be open to suggestions as to what could cause a stain on the back of the stamp like that wasn't from storage.
And front, yeah.
Looks almost like what they call toning, which results from exposure to moisture and
Or
sunlight.
light.
Or he bleached, the top half got bleached and the bottom didn't. Okay, color changelings. Is this missing red or is it a color changeling? I have no clue. There's obviously the sun is a different color, the gas can is a different color, and the house are different colors. Is it actually missing a red? I'd be curious to know if you had the stoplights, what I call stoplights for this issue, if there was actually a pink color. If there wasn't a pink color, then I could guarantee that this is a changeling chemical addition added, some bleaching effect. Like I can't comment on this one. So now it's interesting you mentioned about forgeries. Well, some of this is a forgery. This probably belongs in your collection. That's not from mine. It actually comes with a certificate that says the bottom sentence says this stamp is a fake. It happens. Yeah, they bleached it out somehow. Removed by a chemical process. This stamp is a fake down here. Interesting. And I think, oh, here's another color changing. For the Canadian collectors, I'd be curious to know. I haven't been watching this one. I know I've seen them. I bought them, but I don't know if they actually are or if they actually are shifts.
All I can say is I have seen the difference in color, like the purple on the one, the blue on the other. I've seen in use, especially, you can see there's definitely shade differences. Not sure what causes it though. If it's printing or if it's from fading, not sure. The red seems the same strength in all of them.
And that's it. Done.